Resolving ambiguous parameter set errors in PowerShell with multiple parameter set names. Understanding the problem, ambiguous parameter set in PowerShell. When creating PowerShell scripts with multiple parameter sets, you may face the error. This typically occurs if the parameters provided don't clearly belong to a single parameter set, especially when mandatory parameters for some sets are missing. Scenario: you have several parameter sets like report, report silent, update silent, and a default help set. Some switches appear in multiple sets but differ in mandatory parameters. For example, report requires scan ID. Report silent requires scan ID, API key, and silent login. Running the script with report alone causes PowerShell to fail resolving the parameter set because it can't decide whether report or report silent applies due to missing mandatory parameters in both. Why this happens? PowerShell determines which parameter set is being used by matching the parameters supplied against defined parameter sets. If a switch or parameter appears in multiple sets but the mandatory parameters differ, PowerShell cannot infer intent if required parameters are omitted. For instance, if silent login is missing, PowerShell doesn't know if you meant report or report silent. Both expect required arguments that weren't provided. Best practices to avoid this issue: 1. Use distinct parameter sets with unique switches. Create clearly distinct switches for the silent and normal modes instead of overlapping. For example, this way, PowerShell can immediately determine the intended set based on the switch used. 2. Define mandatory parameters per set clearly. Ensure mandatory parameters are only in the appropriate parameter sets. Default parameter set should reflect no arguments use case. Usually, a help parameter set can be the default when no switch is specified. 4. Avoid overlapping switches across parameter sets. Using the same switch like report in both report and report silent causes ambiguity. Use separate switches such as report and report silent. Example restructured syntax. This approach clearly defines intent from the first parameter, ensures mandatory parameters per set are always relevant, eliminates ambiguity. Summary: PowerShell cannot resolve ambiguous parameter sets if mandatory parameters are missing and switches overlap. Use unique switches for different parameter sets. Define mandatory parameters per set to guide PowerShell prompting. Set a sensible default parameter set for no argument calls. This structure improves script usability by prompting users correctly and avoiding confusing errors.